Do you use tracking devices to keep tabs on your kids? If so, you're not alone, but experts warn there's a dark side to watching our kids' every move.
We started Life 360 at the start of last year when my daughter first started high school.
Courtney Pollard is talking about the GPS tracking app she uses to monitor her 13-year-old daughter.
With me having to drive the youngest one to school, the oldest one needs to obviously catch the bus. So as it being a public bus, we need to make sure that she just arrives safely to school.
Courtney's just one of millions of Aussies who use tracking devices to keep an eye on their loved ones. Some parents installed GPS-based apps on their kids' phones to track them. Others pop devices like the Apple AirTag into their children's backpacks and shoes. The market, huge. Life 360 alone reporting a 36% rise in usage last year. That's 1.9 million users a month.
Good thing to have it, so people can track their own kids.
Never. No, you have to trust people.
Definitely think it has a time and a place in terms of knowing where your kids are.
But it's not just parents driving the trend. The practice has become so normal for Gen Zs, they're watching the locations of everyone from their mates to their mums.
The other day, I noticed that one of my friends was in Mexico, and I was not told of this trip.
It's a communal thing. We all kind of track each other.
I use Find my iPhone for my flatmate who's younger than me, and she has it for me.
I think Gen Z are used to living in a super connected world. Everyone's on technology, and as natives of that, it doesn't seem scary to them. It seems kind of normal and useful.
And while many are using the features for good, to keep themselves and their friends safe...
If you ever lose a friend on a night out, you can tap the app and it will give you directions to where their phone is.
There are warnings normalising everyday surveillance could lead to dangerous acceptance of stalking and abuse down the track.
In safeguarding your privacy, it's important to remember to update kind of what you're using as your situation changes, because you don't want to, for example, be giving your location data to your ex.
For me personally, I wouldn't use it in a relationship.
Can't imagine tracking my partner. I can't imagine my partner tracking me. I would be horrified to learn that if he was doing that.
Well, here to help us through all of this, psychologist Sahra O'Doherty is here. Sahra, this seems like it could actually be a great way, though, to make sure that your kids are safe. What's wrong with that?
There's definitely a lot of pros to this, and I do think that it is important to remember that these devices, these apps can be used for the benefit of our kids, but there's lots of downsides to it as well. So we want to make sure that we're not just buying into our own anxiety and then potentially creating more anxiety in our kids and potentially also having a sense of distrust in our relationship with our kids as well.
So, Sahra, what's the worst that could happen?
We don't want them to be in a situation where we're normalising always having their location details known to other people. And what we're really concerned about is there's a very small number of cases in the future where they might be with an intimate partner and it can lead to a sense of either stalking or coercive control. We don't need to be in situations where our partners can know and control us based on our location settings.
My kids are little, they're both under 10. When they were really little, I loved the leash. Wouldn't go anywhere without it. It was really good. It would stop them from running across the road. So what are alternatives for parents where kids are still young? Because I kind of get that teenagers, you don't want to... It's almost like reading their diary, right?
Yes.
Tracking them without their consent. So what about littler kids?
Well, I mean, when it comes to tracking devices, for instance, I've got little kids as well. We have the Find My iPhone feature operating, and what that does is it allows us to see if they've left the devices at a friend's house. And, when we are actually looking for that device, then we can have that conversation with the kids and tell them this is what we're using this app for.
I've got a car that when you get out of the car, it tells you you've left your phone behind. Who's tracking me?
Everyone.
The car.
Yeah. Everyone.
The car. You just want to brag that you got a car. Oh, la-di-da, pricey, with his 4 wheels over there.
It seems like Gen Z, they like to keep tabs on each other in romantic relationships. Is that healthy?
Look, probably not. I think this is where, again, we have to be having conversations about consent. And if we are going to be keeping tabs on each other, if we're going to be sharing locations with, teenage girl with her boyfriend or teenage boy with his girlfriend, then we need to be making sure that everything is known in that situation so that they're not agreeing to something where it can basically be used against them later on.
But Sarah, okay, that's teenage boy, teenage girl, yes, all of that. What about 33-year-old woman and partner? Is that a healthy thing if you track where each other is?
Anyone we know?
No, asking for a friend.
That's a whole other kettle of fish.
It's funny.
What we're talking about there is a lot of potential mistrust and distrust. And what I would say is...
don't you act all innocent, Sam?
I've got an Argentinian girlfriend. It's different. It's cultural, okay?
I think that in those kinds of situations where you are suspicious of your partner, talk to them. And if you don't feel comfortable yet talking to them, go and see a psychologist. Come and see a psychologist, have a chat with them, and they can guide you through the process. And it might even mean needing to go and see a relationships counsellor.
Oh, no.
Steve
Wow.
And I
That took a
partners,
turn.
but don't ask us for any advice when it comes to relationships.
Someone get eyes on Millsy right now.
So we don't know who it was.
Okay.
It was a hypothetical. Sarah, thank you very much for your insights.
Thanks so much, guys.
Whoa! Bit too under. Maybe need to see a psychologist, honey.
Wow.